James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is a reimagining of the 2016 David Ayer film Suicide Squad based on the DC properties of Task Force X, aka The Suicide Squad. This film delivers on multiple points, but we're going to go through them one by one. So first and foremost, if you're looking for a comic book movie that doesn't take itself too seriously and is just fun, this is that movie. This movie is pure fun. It's got comedy, it's got action, it's inappropriate, but it is a great time, especially if you're going to go to the theater or if you're going to watch it on HBO Max with a bunch of friends and some alcohol and some snacks. This is a great movie to do that with. The characters are rounded out by a bunch of original characters from the original movie and then new additions. So Colonel Rick Flag is still leading the team. Viola Davis is. Amanda Waller is still in command of the Task Force X. You have Harley Quinn returning and Captain Boomerang also reprising, Jai Courtney reprising his role as Captain Boomerang. A lot of new characters have been added, as you can see through all the promotional material and the posters, but really there's a twist from the very beginning, which I'm not going to spoil in this review, but suffice it to say that there are a lot of characters in this particular iteration of Task Force X that you'll come to enjoy. Now, problems I had with this movie. So first of all, we're going to address not Deadshot. And the reason that I call Idris Elba's character of Bloodsport not Deadshot is because he is basically Deadshot. He does a lot of the things that Deadshot does. Essentially, his character is what would happen if Boba Fett and Deadshot had a baby, and that is Bloodsport. Now, Bloodsport is in the comics. He's a lesser character, but the choice to not have Deadshot in this, it doesn't take away from the movie, but at the same time, it is kind of a shame that they were not able to get Will Smith's Deadshot back. Other than that, the pacing of the movie isn't bad, but it could have done with a little bit of fine-tuning. But, I mean, it doesn't really take away, but you could just see that, you know, had they paced it a little bit better, it would have been a better film. Now, like I said, this movie doesn't really take itself too seriously, and I was afraid going in that because James Gunn was directing it, it was basically going to be DC Guardians of the Galaxy. It is not that. I think that they gave James Gunn a lot more creative freedom than Marvel does with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And based on that, you can see that he was able to go in places, as far as the humor is concerned, that he would never be allowed to do in a Marvel film. Never. Ever, 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 ever. So, you know, it really does shine on the comedic front. The antagonist of this film might be the weakest part of the film from a character level. You have the Thinker, then you have this Latin government from this country, Corto Maltese. They're not really done particularly well. They're very almost late 80s, early 90s, stereotypical, almost communist Cuban style characters. They're not done particularly well. The military is kind of all over the place. It's actually the only real place where you see like a lot of, like, they went to painstaking effort to show some sort of diversity as far as gender is concerned in the military. You can see that where most of the commanding officers are female, and it's like really slight, and you wouldn't catch it if you weren't looking. But it is interesting. Like, you have like these like 5'4", 5'3" ladies that are soldiers, and they do a really good job convincing you that they're commanding officers. It's just the look of them is different because they're so short. Other than that, I mean, the movie is just, it's perfect. It's very comic book accurate. with the depictions of the characters, even the lesser silly characters like Polka Dot Man and the detachable kid and characters like that are done very comic book accurate, and I really appreciate that from this movie. Other than that, the action sequences are done very well. They're a lot of spectacle, but they really do a good job of honing in on each character's special abilities when they're doing their particular fight scenes. This is really done well with the Peacemaker character in particular, the Bloodsport character, Polka Dot Man. They do a really good job of highlighting how his abilities work. Ratcatcher, she's done very well. And speaking of that, that's one of the highlights of the movie, which I didn't think I would care about. It's not necessarily the Ratcatcher character. She's not really particularly special, but she has a rat that comes along with her named Sebastian. And Sebastian the rat is basically the Baby Yoda of this movie. If you like little cute characters that have heart and do funny things, Sebastian the rat is where it's at. I'm telling you. Sebastian the rat. If you take nothing from this review, just remember, Sebastian the rat is the man. So other than that, what's going on in this movie is it's really fun. You don't have to think about it terribly hard. It's not preaching at you. It's not, trying to, give you a message or of any kind. It's literally just a really fun comedy action movie with super villains in it. And I think that is what really is going to make me watch this another time. I've actually watched this movie twice. Anybody that knows me knows I barely watch movies more than once, but I've already seen this movie twice. I probably am going to watch it again. So I will give The Suicide Squad a 9.5 out of 10. Definitely go see this whatever way you can, whether that be HBO Max or going to the theater to see it with a bunch of people. Get your snacks and just enjoy a fun time at the movies. This definitely is, I think, how movies going forward need to be. They just need to be fun, entertainment that distracts you from everything strange that's going on in our current climate.